Beautiful day. Sun shining, really shows off the structures of the trees during the wintertime. It's the best time to do pruning. One of the things that always is a conversation of Japanese maples is how to prune them. I've seen several different videos, heard many different people lecture. One thing I've come across after doing amazing maples for over 11 years is that there is no real one way of pruning a Japanese maple tree. Trees themselves have such different growing habits that you can't really say you should prune it this way or that way. And even the same tree, depending on the person, may be pruned differently. In my case, I really like to open things up as much as I can to really show off the coloring of the leaves. Certain trees, that's important. Other trees, it's not so important. Some characteristics of trees are such that pruning them one way would not work, and other trees, such as the big japonicum here, you'd definitely not want to prune it the same way you'd prune an upright tree. This particular tree, Green Cascade, has what I call a retarded growing habit. Grows crossways, ups, down. To cut off branches that are crossing would kind of ruin its characteristic. Big okagami here is a wonderful upright tree. Great structure. Kind of a darker leaf, so it's nicer to actually open this tree up a little bit. Give it a little more space between branching so the sunlight can go through the leaves and give a little more color pop to the leaves. Other trees like this particular one, oh shoot, the name of it, Summer Gold. So Summer Gold is a beautiful yellowish, chartreuse-ish colored tree. Can handle sunlight, full sun. This one has a much denser growth, so you would leave as much foliage on it because its color is best with lots of foliage. So you'd prune this tree completely different. Plus you can see it's more of an upright. Well, we got another one in between. Bald Smith, which is nice. Dissectum. Again, this is a really nice colored tree in summer if it's gets light inside, so even though it's got a twiggy characteristic, it's really nice to open it up a little bit more and take some more branching off. Now this upright has a little definitely different growing habit than, say for instance, the okagami. So this one has delicate little red leaves that are nice and easy to see through, or the sunlight goes through, so you wouldn't prune this tree nearly as much as you would another upright, red upright. This one's got a little bit extra dead wood. I got to get into it. See the japonicum there in the background, the large japonicum. That has a completely different growing habit again. Like the Green Cascade, it's kind of retarded growing, but this one definitely grows more upright and a little easier to take out the crossing branches. Twombly's Red Sentinel right back here. You can see this one, you pretty much just let it grow and then clean out the dead wood. Occasionally you'll take out a crossing branch, but it's not really required. The tree itself during the growing season has such full dense foliage you can't really see through it. Makawa Yatsubutsu, which is this particular little tree right here, really fun to prune. Prune this one any way you like. I have found I try and open up the areas where the tree curves to give off the shape a little bit more. And there's trees like Benny Jaime, which is a very twiggy, growing type tree. This tree you do as little pruning as possible because the foliage of the tree is really what makes it so special. Now then you have different dissectums. So Otto's dissectum here, you would not prune nearly as hard as taking out as much of the foliage or the wood, small wood, as you would Baldsmith, because this tree does not grow back as fast and it's not as dense. Benny Otaki here, wonderful tree. Really is a great tree to actually take most of the lower foliage off to get it taller and a nice broad canopy, so you can get the coloration as you look through it, looking up. You can see here's Oregon Fern, again another Japonicum. This has a complete retarded growing habit all over the place. It's always fun. You know, basically this tree is going to cross branches and it's going to look good. Here's two trees that you really don't prune also. This is Benny Hoshi, Ruby Stars, Skeeter's Broom, same thing. Two different varieties, two different looks. You prune them or don't prune them, depending on how you feel about it, to what you want. Benny Hoshi or Ruby Stars can be pruned down, and so it's more shorter if you want, but it is an interesting tree in height. Skeeter's Broom pretty much just grows, so you just really can contain it to what you want. See, these trees vary so much. You know, back there you see a fire glow. Again, this is like a Benny Otaki, where you really want the canopy to be high and be able to walk underneath it to see through the color of the leaves. Whereas Skeeter's Broom back here, the color is very dense, so you're going to want to look right at it. Nice view of a Makawa Yatsubutsa. Eye candy, slow growing tree. Kind of want it more bushy. And then there's like dissectums, one of the red dwarfs. So again, you can say cut leaf trees. You'll have to really look at the characteristics of it to say how to prune it. This tree, obviously, you're going to not really prune on because it doesn't really grow in its time. So as I said, you really have to look at the particular tree, decide how to prune it. So just to watch a video and say, oh, this is how you prune a tree, is not going to do you much good. Well, it'll give you a repeat of what they do, but it doesn't necessarily give you the best benefit of a particular tree or location. And obviously, picking the right tree for the right location is really important. And so with all these different cultivars, it's really important to find a correct tree, so to speak, for your location.